So the teams have put together just amazing play calling, amazing teams. The athletes are incredible. So I love all that. It's all about success and working hard and doing great and giving it all to the fans. So maybe someday that makes sense for me, right? You know, so maybe someday down the line it might.
I know you're tight with the owner of the Saints.
Yeah. Gayle's amazing. Yeah, someday if Gayle were to ever be like, hey, she's gonna live forever. She's in such a great shape and it's just a really, really sharp lady. I really respect her. We're good friends. I really respect her. I learn from her. She's an incredible businesswoman, and even more, she's just great in the community. She gives everything back. But maybe someday if she's like, hey, who knows?
You might have it in. Might have it in.
You never know.
All right, shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all for being in this one. Hit the like button for this episode of the show. Big ups to the fam, man. Big Q representing the mighty Who Dat Nation for this one, man. And Todd Graves, man. How about Todd Graves, man? Looking for get in to the NFL, mentioning the fact that he would love an opportunity to own an NFL team. And this talking about a man that's the richest person in our state, man. I think his chicken business is estimated, but it's worth a lot of bread, man. But we're gonna cover it in the article, man, and talk about potential new ownership. Now we know Gayle Benson already mentioned the fact that she is not looking at selling the team, and it's not for sale. She's made that abundantly clear. But the reality is, Gayle is 79 years old. She doesn't have any heirs to the team. And it could be a situation where this makes a lot of sense. This is a very rich person, very smart business philosophy wise. Could he be the next potential owner of the New Orleans Saints? So shout out to NOLA.com for covering the scoop. And it's very interesting because this at some time could grow and have legs, man. As well. So Todd Graves, man, for those who don't know who Todd Graves is the owner of Raising Cane's, the co-founder of Raising Cane's, making the statement that he would like to own an NFL team. And of course, we mentioned the fact that he's cool with Gayle Benson as well. He has a lot of respect for her. Those two are the richest two people in the state. And his comments does cause a stir because he's a guy that is a wealthy person and is young enough to possibly be a person that we would love to see in ownership, whether it's, he mentioned NFL obviously, but for him to be a potential person to come into and join the organization would be interesting, man, to be honest with you, man. So anyway, let's kind of take a look at this, man, at these comments that he made and talk about Todd Graves as a potential getting into NFL ownership. Now, Gayle Benson, 79, says she's not going anywhere. She's addressed this issue publicly a number of times when she made it clear that she has no intention of selling selling a minority stake in the team, nor does she plan to sell the team prior to her death. So Greg Benson said Friday upon her death, both teams will be sold and all of the proceeds will be distributed through her charitable trust to a variety of initiatives and organizations with sole focus being support the overall betterment of the city and the state. And that's very interesting because that is the game plan that the NFL agreed to when they asked her to write a will, and the owners approved it. So while the teams have not enjoyed much success as they like in recent years, Benson has been a terrific steward of the teams for the city and the state. She understands the responsibility of a position and above all is loyal to New Orleans. She spent much of her time and tenure trying to secure successful futures for both teams in the state. As we know, Father Time is undefeated. Eventually she will have to sell the teams as stated in Tom's Benson's succession plan. But Benson has designated a number of trustees to handle the sale of the teams. What then happens? Graves will certainly be the candidate. He checks every box. He's local. He's a native New Orleans. He was raised in Baton Rouge. He spent his entire life in Louisiana, with the exception of his college years at the University of Georgia. He's viable. Forbes listed his network at $22 billion. Forbes listed, let me say that again. Forbes listed Todd Graves from Raising Cane's, his network at 22 billion with a B dollars, which makes him the wealthiest person in the state and one of the wealthiest in the country. He's more than qualified for an NFL team. He cares through various donations, sponsorships of local sports teams and events, particularly LSU, showing a commitment to strengthen local communities. He's on the sports scene a lot. He's seen the league's endorsement. He's on the NFL radar, especially if you're down here. If you're the NFL, you got a man worth 22 billion, or his net worth at 22 billion dollars. You got a 79 year old owner, and then you got a guy richer than her in the state who has local ties. He definitely on their radar, but he gained bona fides by donating several important causes to the Super Bowl. It wasn't an accident that he served as the Grand Marshal of the NFL Super Bowl parade. He co-hosted a fireside chat for the Manning Family Children Hospital event. And when the time comes, he will be positioned to become the fourth owner in Saints franchise history. So by far, he's far from a shoe-in, but it'll be fierce. But most of them teams and clubs like one owner. And if they got a guy rich enough to be one single owner, like they went after Tom Benson, when Tom Benson bought the team and he became the guy and all this kind of stuff, the NFL, NBA likes to deal with pretty much single owners. They have less confusion. But when you got a guy worth that kind of money, it'll be interesting. So 32 NFL clubs, they got incredibly valuable assets. The Seattle Seahawks recently went up for sale. The industry experts expect the team to sell for 7 to 10 billion. The final sale price could be projected to exceed over $6 billion. $6 billion, paid for the Commanders. Like the final sale price projected to see $6 billion paid for, like you seen with the Commanders a couple of years ago. With skyrocketing valuations, NFL teams, including the Saints, are approached regularly by vetting investors interested in buying the teams or pieces of them. So the NFL has some strict guidelines for ownership transfers. Prospective owners can form groups with up to 25 total partners, but the league requires the principal owner to hold at least 30% of the total equity of the team's value. With teams selling $6 billion and maybe more soon, that can be just under $2 billion or more in cash. Now, the stipulation alone limits the candidate pool to a privileged few, while Benson's trustees will have a fiduciary duty to the beneficiaries of the trust. They don't necessarily have to go with the higher bidder. Trustees can argue with slightly lower bids. It's better if the bidder has more liquid capital, a cleaner background for NFL vetting, or a better plan for the team's long-term stability. Now, all of which can protect the true assets. The NFL, as a private entity, requires the approval of at least 24 of the 32 owners, which is 3/4 majority for any ownership change. So this will be all good, but Graves, by all accounts, he qualified. He got all the money, and the question is, we don't know what's going to happen with Gayle Benson. Gayle Benson, like I said, she's 79 years of age, and she's getting up there in age, and only time will tell on what happens with this. But this is a very interesting story that Todd Graves, man, the chicken man, eventually could possibly end up being the owner of the Saints over time. It would be cool to see that, to be honest with you, man. Like I said, 79 years old. She says she's not going to sell right away, but man, you never know what can happen in the next couple of years, how stuff be happening with people. You never know. But anyway, what do you guys think about Todd Graves, man? What do you think about him and his business, his network at $22 billion, his connection to the NFL? Do you think Todd Graves will ultimately become an NFL team owner, maybe the Saints owner in the future? What do you guys think about that? Y'all chime in the comment section and let me know. Shout out to FanDuel, the official sponsor of the show. Feel free to hit the like button and the subscribe button and the notification bell as well. Y'all check out FanDuel for all your betting, available on FanDuel. Y'all make sure y'all get y'all bets in, man. Check FanDuel out. Also, feel free to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/the Pro Media Network for over 5 years worth of lot content. Also our merch. With that being said, I'm gonna get on up out of here. I appreciate y'all, man. Hit that like button and the subscribe button. Much love, peace, and who that.
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, from Preservation Hall to the Riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with thewhodatdaily.com. Your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit thewhodatdaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation.
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic, NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below or in the chat.